Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Cheryl, what's going on? Is everybody awake yet? I'm on my, I think went to my second cup of coffee this morning. Bright eyed and bushy tail, are you eye for beauty, huh? Just waking up. Coffee's brewing. Yeah. First cup. Yeah. I just got back upstairs. I was downstairs putting little cinnamon and honey in my coffee. It's actually really good. I like cinnamon in my coffee. I do that a lot. I never put honey in before until just today. I was like, I'm gonna give that a try. It's pretty tasty. I usually don't put sweeteners in my coffee. My 80 baby, what's going on? My 80 baby, the one that says she is not a morning person, but is here bright and early every Sunday that I do this. Hey, Atomic Redhead, what's going on? Take naps. Black like your soul. Green tea, yeah, it's probably I should be doing that. I should probably start lightening up on the caffeine. So this morning, everybody, I decided I'm going to go over one thing that I've gone over a couple times before. The reason I'm going to do that is because I keep getting messages concerning it. I finally remembered to bring my I my my tablet, my Apple tablet, iPad Mini. Why I couldn't think of that? It's still early. I need to get this second or third cup down. So I'm going to go over it. So it's in my YouTube. I'm streaming to YouTube as well right now. So I'm going to go over this hopefully one last time. So when people message me, I can just reference the YouTube channel. And what I'm talking about for all of that, everyone's like, spit it out already, Jeremy. Tell me what you're going to talk about. Is the consignment uh, situation that deals with doing estate sales, the way we do to pick this old house. So yeah, my 80 baby, honey and cinnamon in my coffee. It actually turned out way better than I was expecting it to be. But anyway, yeah, get used to bunny trails. It's unfortunately a big thing of mine. I get off on bunny trails, so I might start talking about honey and cinnamon for 20 minutes. I'm just kidding, but bunny trails are a real thing here during my chat shows. But anyway, the pick this old house consignment situation. I get a lot of questions, emails, not emails, but messages and whatnot here concerning the biggie is always what percentage do I charge, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go over that real quick just so I can um, reference this when people ask. I can just send them like, hey, go check out the YouTube video that pertains to this. So, real quick, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time because some of you have already heard this a bunch of times. When it comes to doing these consignment sales, pick this old house situations, and we do those on consignment. We are trying to figure out how to do it where it doesn't involve a consignment, where we can just pay a fee and pay the person X amount of dollars per day to go in and sell their stuff. Is one of the strategies we here at Crane 13 are thinking of adopting or trying to do if the situation is right. But let's get to the biggie. Firstly, please be aware the first thing you're going to need to do if you're even going to attempt to do this is make sure that you're legally allowed to sell via commission online without some type of license through your state. That's the first big thing you want to make sure you cover and research. You should be able to go online and like here in Pennsylvania, the board of licensees. There's an auctioneers board in all of the licensing stuff in Pennsylvania, and they're the ones that handle consignment sales via any auction platform. So you have to have a license in order to do that. So here in PA, if anyone's selling a estate sale and taking a commission, out of it without a license, they could get themselves in a little hot water, get fined, shut down, so on and so forth. And it's not usually overly complicated. There's a lot of states you can do that in. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, resale licenses, is that for consignment? I mean, I'm talking about reselling versus consignment. There's two different things. You can resell stuff all day long. You can sell stuff that's your own or stuff that you bought. It's a completely different ball of wax. But whenever you are taking on a consignment situation, they want to make sure, one, if you're doing that, you have to be bonded, because if you're selling somebody in Pennsylvania, if you're selling somebody else's goods and then up and run off with the money and don't pay the person their percentage that you agreed to pay them, they have a recourse to go after your insurance bond in order to get paid for what they rightfully think is owed to them. So that's the biggie. That's why most states require that, because you're under a contractual obligation to pay them out, and you have all their money, and it usually requires some type of bonding insurance or something like that. So make sure you have your ducks in a row as far as that's concerned. Firstly, absolutely, that's the biggie you want to do, and get that taken care of and understood and in line before you even attempt to do anything. Secondly, the biggie that everyone's asking, I don't know what commission to charge. Well, to be honest with you, we didn't either. You don't know until you get involved and start doing it. All I can tell you is you have to know your business. You have to know your overhead expenses. You have to know how much money doing it is worth it to you. And then you have to sit down and do some math, find out how much you would need to sell in order to make it worthwhile to you. And how much, or not even that, just how much commission you would have to charge to make it worthwhile to you. So if you want to make X amount per day, then you can sit down and go, okay, I'll have to sell either this much at this percentage, and just start doing the numbers and see what makes sense and see what you can talk to somebody about accomplishing, if that seems realistic or not. If you don't have the tools or the knowledge base to be able to go into an estate and look at it and figure that out, don't do it, because you're going to get off on a really bad footing. But if you have the willingness as well, our first pick this old house that we did, I don't think we made any money. I mean, just to be honest with you, we were testing the waters, it was a new idea, new platform to do it on. And we just went, into it, and we're like, this seems good. We'll just charge this amount, and see what happens. So each one we're doing is evolving as we go based on what didn't work the last time. So if you have the ability to undertake a colossal loss of time and potentially money, which is all the same thing, then that is the other aspect that you're going to have to be willing to deal with in order to figure out how this stuff works. There is no uh, commission structure that's just going to work in this environment for everybody. It's not like a regular auction house where the people come and pick it up, and you're not dealing with insurance. Well, you're not dealing with shipping stuff and back end customer service issues, back and forth. That's all time and cost that isn't dealt with a regular auction scenario. It's completely different here, doing consignment on whatnot. So yeah, anybody here even care too much about this? Like I said, I just really need to get this on video so I can reference it to people that keep asking me about it. So all that is stuff you need to painstakingly go through and figure out for yourself, all the numbers, your overhead costs, what it's worth to you. And it's a lot. I did decide, and I'm guessing you guys will be okay with this. I'm not going to go over all the numbers for this last pick, this old house. But what I will do is I'll go through one auction that I did at Ennis's, okay? And I will show you, this will be in the future, um, what like what it basically costs us to accomplish that one sale. And what we actually, I'm going to go through the time, we're driving two vans, an hour there and an hour back. That's an equivalent of 4 hours a day. We expect a loss of X amount of dollars per mile per van. How much in packaging and materials we had to spend in order to get stuff shipped out. And then there's other things like collateral costs that happen. Take, for instance, our shipping right now is at like 4 days, where we used to be 1 day shipping. And that's a collateral cost to us that you can't quantify exactly, because I don't know what that affects as far as buyers coming in to buy from us, new buyers willing to come in and bid on our stuff, because we don't have the best shipping time anymore. We used to have 1 day, and that's a really positive thing for people. We just had a cancellation request the other day because we're outside of the 2 day ship time, and they requested to cancel because of it. Those are collateral costs that happen as a result of doing a huge series of sales that even us with multiple people got way behind and are still behind. I had to go in and waste a good portion of my Saturday shipping stuff out. I don't want to have to do that. So another aspect that you have to take into consideration when you're taking on something like that, um, it's a lot. So again, there's a little bit of a bunny trail, like I said, I go on, but I will go through the numbers of one of Ennis's sales, one of the Pick This Old House sales, not the whole event on its entirety, and give you a rundown of how little you end up with, even after it seems like you sold, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff in a day, how quickly that money just shoots out the door after fees, after packing materials, after paying time, wages, insurance, like just all that stuff. Um, and the amount of space it takes up in the warehouse, and again, collateral cost. Do I require deposit up front before the sale? I don't know. No, there's no. Why would I require deposit? I'm the one that has all the money. SS, what's going on? No, the way a consignment sale works is that's why you need to, in Pennsylvania, you have to be bonded because we have all the consignor's money when we sell the items. No, no, no. I will tell you, we charge a per item fee, per lot sold fee for overhead expenses. But no, no one's going to give us a deposit to sell their items. That I just don't think that would end up turning out to get a lot of people or anybody signed up. I would not pay somebody to sell my items. That's just like back in the day, people used to charge to come out, and the value, like auctioneers used to charge people to come out and look at their stuff. That's a big no-no. You can only charge people for services where they get something in return. And that's like, if you do an appraisal, you're basically charging someone. But Zimpress, what's going on? Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. No. I get calls all the time where people call me and say, "Hey, do you, older people especially, do you charge to come out and look at stuff?" My first response to it is like, "No, that's part of my job. That's factored into when I come in to do an evaluation. That's part of, built-in expenses into my business. And if you have anybody that tells you they're going to charge you to come out, hang up the phone and call the next person. Do not ever pay for someone to come out and look at your stuff. That is, in my opinion, highway robbery. If anybody does it, I'm sorry. If you're doing it for appraisals, like I could do an appraisal, I'm coming out and charging them for a service where they can utilize that appraisal for other stuff. That's fine. But just to come out and look at something and tell them your opinion, that's and give them nothing in return. That's basically taking advantage of somebody, in my opinion. Um, so anyway, does anybody have any other questions, real quick, concerning that I just covered? Because I want to get past that. I really just wanted to get that on video on YouTube, so when people do ask me, because I get it on a very frequent basis, and it's just going to be easy for me to reference this video than write, a 2 paragraph response to somebody. So, and if anybody's new here, I was just going over the Pick This Old House consignment commission stuff. If you're curious about any of that, go back and watch the video. I have it on YouTube, so it won't go away. So, since it doesn't seem like anybody's really has any other questions about that. Absolutely, Susan. That's the other thing. We've expressed that. That's a great question. Thanks for bringing that up. I should address that. Each scenario is a different situation. So, like I said earlier, there's no hard and fast. situation. If I go in and you see a lot of high price, like the majority of everything's going to be high ticket items, which we haven't had a situation like that we've been able to provide here on Whatnot, since we've been selling on here. The commission structure is going to be different. I'm not going to charge them anywhere near as much because time is, it's one of those situations where the lower something sells for, the higher the percentage, because it takes the same amount of time to sell a $10 item as it does to sell a $1,000 item. So I'm not going to charge the same commission for both of those, right? I'm going to charge more for the lower quality items, and I'm going to charge less of a commission for the higher quality items, right? Makes sense. That's why when you go to an auction, a lot of those have varying prices as far as what they sell. Um, if they sell something for $10 or less, they charge like 50%. And if they sell something for $1,000, they'll charge like 10%. And some varying degree in between all those. My only problem that I have with that when auctioneers do that is sometimes they're acting not, and it's hard to do if you have a varying commission structure. Which I would not be able to do that on Whatnot. Our commission structure has to be looked at as its entirety, and I prefer that style as opposed to a staggering commission structure. Yeah, yeah, yep, you're right. There you go. But and I'll give an example of why I don't like the varying commission structure, where it's how many people here have frequently gone to auctions? Are we all familiar with your live auction situations? I know in my area it's huge, so there may be a lot of people that have not. Are we all kind of comfortable and familiar with the auction process and how they work? Well, here in my area, we have a lot of situations where, let's say, you have a varying commission structure. Okay. And let's say you're charging 50% for items that sell for $5 or less. And then if you have, a commission structure where, if an item sells for $100, it's only 20%. So my problem that I have is when somebody at an auction brings up a tray of items and they do choice off the tray, and they have a varying commission structure. There's very frequently situations where if you sell those items for choice and they all sell for like $5 and $10 a piece, and the auctioneer charges a higher commission structure off of those choice pieces, even if they sold the entire tray and it brought a little less money as a total, they would have, as a consigner, would have pocketed more money. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Because the fee that they would have charged, they would have sold the whole tray for $100, um, and you charged, 20% on the $100, they get $80 out of that, as opposed to selling it for, let's say you got $120 for it at $5 and $10 a piece off of the tray, but they charge 50% commission. That's only $60 to the. So it appears that they worked harder for them, but they actually put more money in their pocket than the consigners. Does that make sense to everybody? Did you follow that? So that's why one of my unique selling propositions when I talk to when you just if you want to take notes, here's one of those situations where when I'm talking to a person about competitive environments. First of all, I'm a licensed auctioneer. I've been exposed to it my entire life. So my conversation goes something kind of like that. I'm like, I'm a licensed auctioneer, and there's a reason I don't do live auctions anymore. And it's because there's competition issues, weather issues that can affect the prices you get for stuff when you're doing a local state auction. We sell to the entirety of the United States, which just that flat fact tells you, we have a broader base of buyers. So what is that going to tell you as far as prices go? We're more than likely going to get higher prices than you would at an auction. Plus, we very frequently sell a larger percentage to the retailer buyer as opposed to the wholesale buyer, much like most auction houses sell to wholesale buyers, other dealers. The other thing is exactly what I just expressed. I'll tell them, here's an example. If you go to most auctions in our area, they don't have a flat fee structure. If we decide to consign, we have a flat fee structure. Flat consign, it's the same percentage across the board. So we look at the entire situation as a total. You know what you're going to get. There's no manipulation or unintended costs. If an auctioneer thinks they're going to get more selling it per piece because the auctioneer that's selling it doesn't really do that math in their head on the fly, it's essentially impossible. I'll give them that example I just gave you to express how what seems like they're going to get more money in the end costs them more. So that's kind of the kind of stuff that I'll go over with my potential customers or clients when I'm sitting down with them. So if you think about it yourself, what scenario would you want to take? Would you want a certainty, or would you want a bunch of variables that you have no control over? Make sense? Yeah, I would say, and that's and the other beauty is we have the ability to buy the estate out, so I can provide them with options. I can say, hey, we can go this avenue, or we can go this avenue. We can sell on whatnot through an estate situation, or we can come in and buy everything out, or we can come in and cherry pick. And then I go through the pros and cons of cherry picking as opposed to a complete buyout. Start going through what costs and times that they have to sink into getting rid of all the stuff if they want to get rid of it. If we come in and just cherry pick all the good stuff, so there you go, bunny trail again. So. Anybody have any other questions? I always pause for questions. Like that last question just sent me down that hole, that rabbit trail. The YouTube's the same. What do we sell? Have you not seen us on Whatnot? It's probably easier to what we don't sell. Oh, we do estate sales. We sell everything. Hangers and Boyd's Bears. We've sold everything from rubber bands and phone books to hangers, Hummels. We sell jewelry every Thursday. We do coins. We do entire states. We go into toys. We sell on multiple platforms. There's not there. Yeah, you got it. The antiques, collectibles. There's one of my phrases that I say very frequently to people when they call and they ask, "What do you sell?" I tell them, if you can pack it up and ship it out and it sells on a regular basis, I'll buy it and sell it. And that's what we do. And then obviously we push the limits. We very frequently sell things that probably shouldn't really be attempted to be shipped, but we try it anyway. How did you find the following for? Okay. Thanks for the question. I'm going to try to answer that in a two-part process here. Okay. How did you find the following for all those items? We sell everything too. Um, it's a question that everyone wishes there was just a simple answer to, and there's not. Um, if you're talking specifically selling on Whatnot, uh, having a following, first thing first, let's get the difference out of the way of following and bidders. I'll always tell you, don't worry about followers, worry about buyers and bidders. You want buyers and bidders. Some of our best money making sales, and if you've been following me here, I say this all the time, have been in rooms with low counts. And when I say low count, I'm talking under 30 people. And I know that is different from person to person. Um, it comes down to, in my opinion, you have to be. There's three biggies. There's consistency on here, um, what you're selling, and how you're selling it. the way in which you decide to sell your items are all big factors. Who you are as far as a personality goes is a big factor on here. Obviously, this is not a situation where you can ignore the element of personality. It is a social platform. So you have to take all of that and go forward with it. You got to be consistent. You definitely always want to be trying new things and work at, you know, critiquing based on what worked. And I said this in past shows too. The beautiful thing here now that you can go back and watch your old videos, make sure you go back and watch your old shows and take notes of what worked and what didn't work and keep applying what worked and try to figure out why it worked so you can leverage it even further into the future. But, you have to, stay consistent with all of those. Once you build something that seems to be working for you, try to stay consistent. And if you start seeing yourself get away from the consistency or things stop working, you have to adapt. That's a definite. We see things that we've been doing for a year, and some of the things aren't working like they used to, or certain aspects of the way we sell will stop having as much of an impact because if you're the first one to start doing certain things on here or get a crowd that loves a certain type of thing, everyone's attention spans these days or not tolerance, but enjoyment for a certain type of entertainment goes very quickly. So it's a lot of there's a lot of work in that to keep that kind of stuff rolling. So, and I get that's the other, I had a question before about somebody asked about, hey, people want stuff for cheap on here. You know, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want stuff that's inexpensive? So your job, don't there's different avenues you can take. There's certain people that say just sell your items for, put it up for what you want out of it. That's fine. My perspective is buy stuff at a price that you can make money on, no matter what. Like if you buy something, if people want a $20 item for $10, that's fine. Just make sure you buy it for $1 or two and put it in there and sell it for $10 and make your money. I've said this in the past. Don't worry about what you could make or what it's potentially worth. Worry about, make sure you're making money and buy it. Your pathway to profitability is made at your point of purchase. So make sure you have that pathway carved out and just buy it based on that pathway. It's actually it's pretty simple. And don't buy stuff for the sake of buying stuff. We talked about in our past sales about loss leaders and stuff like that that you have to buy that you may lose money on to keep people interested. But that's the element of looking at things at its entirety. Don't get caught up on losing $20 on this item if you made $300 on the 20 items before it. Just don't worry about it. So can I mod some? who? Well, does everyone feel it's funny? I've been getting these requests for modding. Why everyone feels like you have to mod people? You have to mod. Here. There you go. Hold on. There you go. Hold on. Where'd he go? Where'd you go, Eye for Beauty? There we go. We got our mods. All right, everybody. The other way I'm going to try to answer that question that somebody asked when I said I'm going to do it 2 parts. We started these chats here trying to talk about the business end of things on Whatnot. And as we all know, we are in the process of trying to see if all my talk and suggestions are going to be applicable to the current environment and whatnot. I've always said also, our success here and whatnot came from being on here early. So I can't give you the exact best uh, definitive, this is what's working, because what helped us get to where we are was because of how much easier and new things were in the past. When we did the estate sales and stuff, that was a new thing. When we started doing our short save and sell session, that was a new environment in this category. It's not anymore. So I'm missing chat right now. I'm going to go on and you can ask stuff later. So we're going to go through how many here were with us last Sunday. How many people were here last Sunday? Yep. Okay. So, yeah. Mighty baby, you were one of the most last Sunday. You were like question, 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 question. Um, here's what I don't know if you remember. I think the week before or so, um, I expressed my interest in seeing if we'd be able to help. Well, not we. If I'd be able to help somebody get up here, operating, rocking and rolling here and whatnot, and utilizing the elements that I believe will be applicable to today's whatnot environment. And it's all stuff I've talked about in the past. We all know, I'm guessing Katie, if Zimpris or SS or whatever, can you throw Katie's, you guys, I'm sure know Katie's um, name right now up here. There's no offense needed, my AD. I mean, I'm not going to take any offense to it, but thank you, though, my AD baby. I am not looking for someone that needs a lot of help. I have enough of stuff to deal with. Hence the reason why, and I'll give you a background to how this whole happened with Katie. Yes, she's a natural. But the goal is to, yes, try to see how quickly we get things up and operational for her. And the beauty is, the reason of what I want to try to help her with or just test out are the micro influencer aspects that I like to try to employ in sales. The principles of behavioral science and psychology into the auction process. So that is where I'm going to apply what I had to offer to her on whatnot. As far as her being a personality that will take this platform like a duck to water, is the reason things are going to, I believe, work really well with her. And the reason why I approached her about whatnot, the reason why I talked to her about getting on here and, going through the process that we're going to go through. So, yes, mighty baby, I understand. As far as that's concerned, she's not going to need my help. Would she have figured out a pathway forward? Absolutely. But what I'm trying to figure out is this stuff that for myself too, and me sitting here and telling everybody else, hey, I have these suggestions to do. We want to see how potentially effective those type of things will be and how quickly we can cut time for her to get up and started. So those aspects, when I tell everybody else on here, I can say, and you can follow along with the entire process. My goal is to, every time we implement a particular strategy, I want to go over it with everybody so we can eliminate that one aspect that I have no control over. And here's what's perfect. Let me word it this way: I have no control over somebody's personality. I have no control over people that have what their education is or product knowledge and stuff. What I can help with is the stuff outside of that, and that's what we're going to do. Does that make sense? So I'm not offended, my 80 baby, because her being a natural is the reason why I approached her. So if anyone's curious about how we got to know each other and how this whole thing happened? Yes, no, maybe so. Bunny trail, hard to tell someone. Yeah, and bunny trail, and I'll go into the story. That's another thing that's hard. Like people ask all these questions, like, "Hey, what can I do to get more people? What can I do to do this? What can I do to do that?" You know what? Sometimes the hard truth is they just don't have it at that particular point in time. I'm going to tell you right now, I was not a social, being on camera. No, I would have never done that. So it's a develop. You can develop the ability to do it, but that takes you personally more than it does somebody else. That takes you deciding you're going to first recognize you don't have the talent for it and doing what you need to help cultivate that talent within yourself. So I don't want to discourage people from, but I do want to encourage you to really take a hard look at yourself as far as, personality wise, being on whatnot. And that's why watching your videos back really help. So it's stuff that you have to work on. I've told people my past. I realized I wasn't going to make it anywhere until came out of my shell and decided, and I forced myself by going into sales, where furniture sales. Hated it. It was terrible. I didn't do it because I wanted to sell furniture. I did it because I recognized it was a element of my personality that I needed to improve, and that was interaction with people, getting a little bit more of a, you know, comfort around meeting and dealing with people. So anyway, face the camera. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Facing the camera, I think is a big help. We keep talking about it at Green 13. We're going to start clearing out a room so we can switch things around. So there's a little more face time when we start selling on Fridays and any sale. Anyway, as far as Katie goes, um, the week before I met Katie, I was talking about how I would like to try to find somebody that would meet this type of criteria to be able to go through this process of getting somebody on whatnot, and enrolling and implement some of the the back end strategies that we use and some of the psychological principles, micro influencers and stuff like that I've talked about in the last shows, to her sales here on whatnot. Um, and now, keep in mind, I'm not going to be in a situation. Katie's a very successful and independent person. It's seriously just going to be suggestions on my part. She has done an exceptional job of building a business on her own, put 30 years of time in, and I'm not here to come in and be like, hey, do this, do that. I'm just going to suggest and give her reasons why I believe certain things will work. And it'll be up to her to take that, on, and utilize those or stay away from them, or, apply her own, ideas, which is something that I see that in her personality that will get along pretty well and cordially about things like that. Or otherwise, we wouldn't be where we are with her today. So hold on a second. Eyes itchy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some people get really crazy on here as far as dealing with their crowd. So anyway, back to what how this happened. I talked about the day before, not the week before. I ended up, no, it wasn't. It was that exact day. It was that Sunday after we were done doing the chat. Me and my wife, we were going to look for something. Oh, it was a new bench for upstairs in our bedroom. We were getting rid of one, and we are going to go to an antique mall. Go antiquing essentially. So we went to the ended up at Bootleg, and her jewelry store was open. I've been to Bootleg quite a few times, quite actually a lot, because there's a whole area in Columbia that's full of antique co-ops, so we go there milling around on a regular basis, somewhat regular basis. So we went there, and the door to her jewelry store was actually open. I don't know. She had different hours at one point in time, but every time I was there before, it seemed like it was closed and nothing was ever open. It didn't really matter to me in the past, but since I started selling jewelry recently on Whatnot, over the last, 6 months or whatever, I was like, hey, the door's finally open. I'm going to go in and check this place out. My initial thoughts, of any situation is, if I go in and people ask me about sourcing and stuff, and this is the aspect of what I like to do. Worst case scenario, I go in there and I see, nothing. I'm not going in there. I was not going in there with the intent of buying anything. My intent was initially for potential network possibilities, because usually when you have a higher end jewelry store like that, they don't, it's like anything else. They like to sell the more expensive stuff out of the cases, but by way of dealing with that stuff, they come across estates, they come across jewelry that they don't want to deal with, that I'd be more than happy to sell, costume jewelry and stuff like that. So my initial thought is like, hey, let's go in and see what this place is like and see if there might be some networking opportunity there. So I went in. My first impression was, um, I got to be careful here. The store was great. The When I first walked in, somebody was sitting behind the counter and kind of like looking at me oddly, but it could be because I'm walking in looking all frumpy, t-shirt, crazy puffy hair or whatever. It wasn't super uppity. It was just the first eyes on me were not the most warming, and it was not Katie. But that's fine. I mean, that happens all the time. I went in, just started walking around. Katie, didn't know who it was at the time, walks past me and goes, "Oh, how are you doing today?" And me, I'm a lot of times not the most, since I was there for all, ulterior motives. I didn't say, "Oh, fine, thank you." I said, "Do you want the real answer or the fake one?" Okay. Which was a great opening opportunity. She responded with the real one, opened up the opportunity for a dialogue. And I told her I'm tired. And she goes, "Oh, me too. Are you tired?" And I said, "I'm tired." And she goes, "Yeah, me too." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's the nature of, a self-employed business owner." And right there was the connection that happened for us to continue our conversation. She said, right off the bat, she goes, I found out that she was the owner, and she started talking about being an owner. And she goes, "Oh, what?" Obviously, she started asking, "What business are you in?" And I started telling her. And I could find out very quickly the fact that she completely turned her feet, body language and all, towards me and wanted to engage in a conversation. That it was a prime opportunity. Eventually, the conversation led to me asking her if she ever heard of Whatnot. Luckily for me, she had heard of Whatnot one time before, and she goes, "Yes, I did. Someone else came in here and asked if I started selling on Whatnot." I started telling her about Whatnot. She seemed intrigued and interested. And through our conversations that day, I immediately found out that she would be interested and a prime person to utilize some of these things that I've been talking about here and Whatnot. And she was open to that idea. Um, and uh, and I'm talking everything from the fact that we've already identified backlog inventory that she just needs to get rid of. Um, and she has a good understanding of how much she needs to get out of selling stuff and Whatnot. Um, she just, yeah, my 80 baby, you're absolutely right. Her knowledge base, her personality obviously is what I picked up on. You could tell. She also, we all remember, hopefully, the POS. Everybody in my chat that's familiar with that, what personality type do you think Katie is? Do you remember POS? You PPOS. What's PPOS? POS 1000%. I didn't even talk to her about anything like that. You can just tell. You just know them by interacting with them. For those of you that are not familiar, between a POS, um, that is a thing I kind of put together myself. It's not anywhere you're going to find anywhere, but it's a concept of a personality type. You have people that are point of purchase uh, resellers and point of sale resellers. Point of purchase resellers are people that get the excitement from the value of an item at the point of purchasing the item. They're the type of people that end up having a backlog hoard of items and stuff that it's hard for them to get rid of. And then the point of sale people get the dopamine hit in their brain from the profit that they make when they sell the item, not when they buy it. So, can you write notes for each show that we can buy in the buy it now? What do you mean, SS? I'm going to stream everything I do to YouTube. Going to try to, so you can go back and reference. I would love to be able to do that, but I'm terrible at that kind of stuff, SS. That truth bomb really hit me. Which truth bomb? The POP or POS stuff? My 80 baby, or are you talking about something else in chat? Does everyone want to get? You want me to give you a quick overview of the POP POS again? It resonates with a lot of people. Okay, that chat's probably gone, but it's a truth. There's people. I'll go over it again real quick. Point of purchase. It's a character trait, a personality type that you in business you want to push against. You do not want that. It is a situation where when you buy something, your brain gets a dopamine hit from the purchase at the potential value of what that item is going to afford you in the future. Meaning that you buy something for $5 that's worth $20, you're like, I just made $15. So in your brain, you've already got the enjoyment. You already got the drug, the excitement from the value. So your incentive to sell it is very low. You don't have the incentive to sell it because you've already got the excitement from the purchase. A POS personality is a person that doesn't care until it's sold. Me, I'm 100% a POS person. I buy something just because I think it's worth $50 and I bought it for 10. I don't care because I think, well, it may only sell for 30. It may only sell for 20. It may only sell for 45. It may actually sell for 60. So I'm going to reserve my excitement until I realize the actual gain because otherwise I'm setting myself up for potential disappointment. That's the way my brain thinks, which is also what happens when people buy stuff that are POPs, point of purchase personalities. When you buy something and you're like, then the market changes or something like that, you actually have a higher uh, avoidance factor. You don't want to sell it because you already got the excitement in your brain selling it for, you bought it for 5 and you're like, I'm going to sell it for 20. Now it's only worth 10. That pain. I want you to understand another psychological principle. A loss hurts twice as much as a gain feels good. Understand that. A loss, this is a truth in behavioral science, a truth in psychology. They've done tons of studies. A loss hurts twice as much as a gain feels good. So that means if you lose $1, psychologically, it's twice as painful. If you could break that out into units as a gain. Like if you could do pain and good feelings as markers or units, a loss you would drop 2 ticks down for a $1, and a gain you'd only get 1 tick up. So if you already made that money, you're going to avoid selling it because that loss would hurt more than just taking the. It's crazy, but that's what happens. So you always have to strive to be a, POS as much as you possibly can. That's the other reason why we always talk about the another thing we talk about, first in, first out. You got to have your setup where your first items in or your first, not first in first, yeah. Your first items you purchase have to be the first items you sell, so you rotate inventory very, very quickly because it avoids that potential downfall. So go against your nature. Of course you can. It's called a habit. Okay, some people have it, the ability naturally. Um, yeah, first in, first out is the inventory principle you always want to use when you're selling in environments like this. Um, yeah, the FIFO. You can. It just takes work and effort. I mean, that's all there is. It's like building any other habit. Let me clarify something. I do want to do this. When I had that first talk about building a business model here and whatnot, uh, so they would talk about it like it's an addiction. Buying is an addiction. Well, first off, you need to sit down and decide. Again, this is a bunny trail, but that's fine. This is an important one. Um, if you're purchasing as a business, trying to be a business, and you actually have um, it's not, you have not a bad habit, but you have an addiction to buying, you need to address that with professional help on it. I mean, seriously, that will be destructive to you in every principle and aspect of your life. You need to take care of that. And the first step to doing that is trying to recognize whether it is a habit or an addiction. If it's an addiction, these principles won't matter. If it's a habit, if you have a bad habit, that's fine. You can change habits. I mean, you can get over an addiction as well. But if it's an addiction, deal with it. If it's a habit, you can do this. You can use the model that I showed you, the segmenting off your inventory in order to get rid of backlogged inventory, uh, get rid of the emotional attachment, so on and so forth. You can do that if it's a habit. Some people it'll take longer than others, but it's just a matter of, breaking that habit and doing what's necessary to do it. Replace the bad habit with a good habit, and then continue on with your business model. Doing that with intention since that talk. Atomic Habits, Mighty Baby, that is a good book. I did read that. Actually, I listened to it. Atomic Habits. Definitely go grab that if you're trying to again, one of the ways to recognize, I guess I shouldn't say this, but I think if you bought, books and started trying to work through it as a habit and you can't break the habit, you may be looking at more of an addiction than a habit, which it can be addicting because we're talking about dopamine and stuff in your head. So transitioning from a POP to a POS is possible. It goes against the grains, but you just got to develop a habit for it. Luckily, there's people that just have that ingrained in them. So, um, anyway, back to where we were dealing with Katie. Um, um, with Katie, we all know. I'm guessing you can recognize a POP, not POP, POS personality. Now, I do want to make sure everyone understands. Everyone has a little bit of both in them. It's just whether you're weighted one way or another. I mean, the psychological principles behind some of that stuff is going to affect everybody no matter what to some extent. It's just whether which one outweighs the other. And everyone understand. Um, there's certain different elements of attachment to a product that's going to hit that dopamine um, uh, section of your brain is going to release that dopamine, and that might be emotional attachment and stuff like that. So it's going to happen to everybody. It's just you know, whether or not um, you, you're overweight one way or another, and obviously you want that seesaw to be weighted more towards the point of sale personality, which Katie is, unless she hides it extremely well. So where was I before I went on that extensive bunny trail? We're talking about Katie. So again, walked in there, made the got a attachment, um, and had a nice conversation, and realized everybody in the end, if this doesn't work out for her, if like it's not monetarily worthwhile for her, worst case, I think is we will have a business to business relationship between the two of us, as far as, me being able to take or refer high end. If I come across high end jewelry clients, I now have somebody that I'd be very confident in sending them to, and comfortable. And the other principle that I was like, hey, if I go in here and build a relationship with her, whatnot doesn't end up being a thing. She gets into jewelry estates. I do estate sales. So if she's doing an appraisal for an estate and they're, somebody that passed away or whatever the scenario is, guess what? She has somebody that she can refer uh, the estate to, outside of the jewelry. So again, that's stuff that you need to view as potentials when you're dealing with these situations. Again, people always ask about sourcing. Right there's a prime example of a potential sourcing situation that could turn into like me when I'm looking for sourcing stuff. I like stuff that's a relationship like that that can build over time and provide a continual source of revenue or products. But anyway, let's get back to how things were rolling with Katie. So I told Katie about whatnot, all that kind of stuff. I told her, I said, like, hey, if you're interested in doing this, I'm interested in trying to help somebody get up and running on whatnot. And I explained to her that I have a chat show and that I do on whatnot every Sunday morning. And the basis of the chat show is the business end of whatnot. And I would like somebody that I could help put those principles into practice, and so it would benefit me with the chat, benefit my Green 13 overall, and hopefully benefit her. So it's a workable two-way benefit. Mentor, yes, it's a word you use, whatever you want to use. That's the avenue we want to go, and that's what we decided. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That should work out. So it was perfect. She showed me a bunch of stuff, like I said, backlog inventory. She told me what she needs to make for it to be worth her while. We'll be doing some more talking about, how much time she has to be able to put towards this to create the consistency principle. I'll be going over, and one of the nice things is what happened was not unfortunate, but it was a nice learning situation. When she first got signed up on here, she's signed up twice, not to sell twice, but she's had now two accounts of whatnot. Because when I first talked to her, she had a person that was in charge of like her eBay sales, and that person just thought, oh, whatnot's just another place to go sell. So once I left, that person signed up on whatnot immediately. Yep, there it is, Katie 14K. And one of the very first things I told Katie was, and of course we were just in conversation when it was the first day. I'm like, look, I can help you out with certain strategic things. Like, you don't want to have a super long name when you sign up on whatnot. And we all know why that is, right? We all know you don't want really long names on whatnot. I mean, people do it. You sometimes did it and didn't realize. But as far as getting started right, you want short, simple, to the point names. And the biggest reason is, and this is my opinion, and these are elements that we're applying and seeing how, if they work and are consistently viable. When you're scrolling through somebody's um, channels on Whatnot, if your name's too long, it cuts it off. And not everybody's devices act the same. I have bad eyesight. I make my text extremely large. So that's all the more people's names get cut off. And you think about your target market, like take jewelry, for instance. Uh, there's a large cross section of people that like to buy jewelry, but there's also a big chunk of people that are in the age group. Like me, I'm 45, bad eyesight. So a lot of people that are at that stage in life that buy that kind of stuff that will do the same thing I do. They have their stuff set higher. Eyesight's not as bad. I mean, not as good, and that stuff is super hindering to getting an idea of what this person is all about. Exactly, and to shout them out, any of that kind of stuff. There's yeah, yeah, yeah. Anything like that, they're what I call micro influencers. So keeping your name short and simple is a micro influencing strategic factor that it's just going to work. I mean, it's going to make a difference. It's going to help. Is it going to make you succeed as a standalone aspect? Absolutely not. But will it help? Yes. So what happened is she signed up as the other person that signed her up as K&S Fine Jewelry or jewelers or something like that. So it was really long, and it did. Indeed, if she would have posted sales on there, it would have cut a chunk of her name off. So the first thing I did is again, I'm not here to tell her what to do. I just reiterated the statement to her about, hey, you might, want to explore changing that, and here's the reasons why. And she goes, well, can I just use like KD14K? I've been, that on other platforms. I was like, that is absolutely perfect. I mean, that's ideal if you can get that, if nobody else had used it. So I was telling her, I'm like, you're gonna have to go in and ask them to change it, this, that, and the other thing. They also associated with the wrong email account and stuff. And she decided, on her own, because I didn't know if this was going to cause a problem. She's like, what if I just delete the account? I'm like, well, give it a try. We'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, I'm sure we can get a hold of Whatnot and figure out whatever's needed to. She did it and got her KD14K in no time. And then this is what's funny. I told her this is the funny part. I told Katie, I'm like, hey, once you get to your account, don't sign up to sell. I'll send you a referral link. I'm like, usually, they say that referral links help you get approved faster. Well, she didn't need me. She just blew right through. Ignore, I don't know if she didn't hear me when I said that or what, but she just, as soon as she got her KD14K and it all associated with her phone and her email, she just signed up to sell. She sent me this link. She goes, oh, I got it, saying that she got the KD14K, but it was a screenshot of the application to sell. And I called her. I'm like, oh, did you apply to sell? She goes, yeah, was I not supposed to do that? I'm like, it doesn't matter. We'll see what happens. And less than an hour later, she goes, well, that was fast. She was approved to sell in less than an hour. And the next day, she had her onboarding. So I was like, well, that's perfect. We had no involvement at all. It was funny. I called her. I'm like, you approved already? She goes, yeah, you own the company, don't you? I was like, I had nothing to do with that. Because I told her I was going to message my lead guy and be like, hey, how long does this usually take? I wanted to send in a referral for her. And she just went ahead and did it. But it didn't matter. I didn't even get to send the email. She goes, man, you work fast. She told me I work fast. I'm like, I didn't do anything. You did it. That happened to you too? That's awesome. She just put it in and was like, "Bloop." I'm like, "Okay." Yeah. Like she said to me, I'm like, "No, I wish I did." Yeah, I hear all sorts of things. Some people get approved in no time. Some people, it takes days or weeks. I don't know what the reason is behind that, but, you wish I yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to say, yeah, no, I'm not gonna start off a relation have a relationship with somebody. What I did, I obviously jokingly, I was like, she when she put her, I'm sure when she put, I don't know what's on the application to apply to sell on here. I'm sure somebody mentioned, I think Liz mentioned her having a brick and mortar helped. And I asked her, I'm like, I'm sure you put your credentials in there. And she goes, the credentials that matter, like, like the big ones, but all the other ones I didn't worry about. That I was like, "Okay." And she did mention us, in 2 different, uh, parts of whatever the application. I think did they ask for a video of inventory or something like that in application? Does anybody know? Okay. In that part for the video, she just referenced us, that video we did on Sunday, and the pics. I don't think she sent any pics. I mean, she may have sent some pics, but I don't think so. She just referenced the video, uh, that we had done on Sunday. So that was the only thing that dealt with Green 13 as far as the approval process goes. But the fact that she got it done in an hour was just kind of threw me for a loop. So then, then that following day, she had her onboarding at 1 o'clock, and she was like, "Easy peasy, no problem." So yeah, she's going to take to this whole platform like duck to a water. There's no doubt about it. It's just going to come down to whether or not, um, it's going to be financially worth it to her, which I think it should end up being worthwhile to her. So the name change thing happened. Obviously, I want to work with her on. There's a fun little the principles, obviously, of consistency on here. I'm a big fan, which I've not been able to do, which is an opportunity cost to us doing our Pick This Old House videos. I'm a big believer that videos for your sales are extremely important, even though I've been extremely lacking, which once we get caught up with shipping, I'll have time to start implementing videos again in our own sales. But with her and her name, she initially wanted to use her logo for her Susquehanna River jewelry thing. And obviously, again, I talked to her and was like, hey, consistency is really important. So I don't know if you think that it might be a little confusing to have, that and then your name be Katie 14K. So obviously, her being a smart business person, um, uh, came to the same conclusion most people, definitely would like, hey, yeah, let's keep, my name's Katie 14K, so let's, keep it that way. So we'll be working on um, a thumbnail for her as far as that goes. Because again, I'm a big fan of having a consistent thumbnail. I told her to go through and say, hey, scroll through and see whose thumbnails and whose auctions catch your eye. So she did that and told me what, caught her eye the most. And I am in 100% agreement with what she found out, her conclusion to that. So we are definitely on the same page so far on almost everything we've talked about. Uh, so that'll be something we'll be working on. And the timeline here for her, we want to make sure we do everything as the best we can. So if everybody wants more to see more of Katie, we're going to have her with us on Thursday while we sell our jewelry. It's I'm sure she'll just by way of her character will be educating us while we're selling the stuff that we have at Green 13. But the idea behind that is so she can get an idea how the back end mechanics of a sale works. and how we, do our inventory, well, our sale process, um, as far as cataloging the items that sold, so on and so forth. So she has a good understanding. I'll be discussing with her also. We got to make sure she has the space and the ability to actually deal with the workload at her location that might come as a way of doing this. But the plan, the timeline is going to be her coming on Thursday to our place. We're gonna chat with her about the next step would be having another chat here on Whatnot. And it's funny, the last chat we had, the goal was for her to have her account set up so we could refer people to her account. And she did have one last Sunday, but it was that completely other one that is now deleted. So unfortunately, we missed the opportunity to push a bunch of people over to her account that day. But so we're going to revisit another like education based chat session with Katie at some point in time after whatever Sunday works for her after next Thursday. And then when we have that chat, we will hopefully have her first sale posted uh, and ready to go for whatever day and time that may be. So I'm going to drink some more coffee. That is the plan. And the plan is to take everybody with. Okay. You know, I'm going to be discussing, what ideas we implemented, anything I suggested, anything we use, any results we think we got out of it, any changes we make, if we think it helped or hurt the process, all that fun stuff. So hopefully that seems interesting to everybody here, and that's something that you guys think you'll enjoy. You let me know because if not, then I can go a different avenue. But it seemed everybody was interested in something like that happening. Hold on a second, Zimpress. I'll answer that question. Yeah, it's a think positively mug. I see everyone's. I'll stop talking about Katie since there's going to be a lot of Katie talk anyway in the future. People are asking me about mugs and what's in store for Green 13. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is our office slash like den ish room here at the house. We are not going to go out on the road this holiday season. The kitties, I can get one of them. Hey, Mouse, come here. We'll see if one of them shows up. Oh, no, they went downstairs. Is Zero up there with you? Yeah. Okay. No, we learned. Well, there's a couple lessons learned there. We would do a whole bunch of retail arbitrage during the Christmas selling season on Amazon. And pretty much the profitability factors involved in that have gone to where it's not worth it. The goal has been to try to ramp up Whatnot. It has not, in my opinion, gotten to the point of replacing prior Amazon years, but has done a good job of trying to fill in the hole that Amazon is currently going into as far as a revenue stream for Green 13. Um, so the goal this year is to try to sell as much as we possibly can here on Whatnot during the holiday selling season. Yes, and the momentum we lost, in my opinion, we are still suffering from because that was early momentum, and early momentum is extremely important because it follows through for uh, it just sticks the stick to itiveness of the early momentum. So we lost a ton as a result of doing that. So we don't have any plans to do that now. There might be we might go do some if we see any potential opportunity to make money. but I would really like to get a lot of stagnant inventory that's in our warehouse. And I'm sure anyone that's been following us has seen those racks and racks of like Nerf guns and LOL dolls, and we got all kinds of new, still new records, all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping we can come up with a strategy to help get rid of some of that stuff here on Whatnot, and some of it's still on Amazon, so we can get a little bit more of a Whatnot geared inventory system put together in our warehouse to make it more streamlined, more efficient. If you also follow us, we just get overcrowded because of the way we have racks designated for Amazon and inventory still sitting there. So, like I always preach, everyone's subject to the same, things. We are not by any means at the point of being like super efficient, because we have racks and racks full of stuff that's been sitting there for well over a year, some of it 2 years, that was designated for Amazon, and it needs to go. I mean, it needs to go. It's dead money. It needs to get out of the warehouse. We need our space back. We need to be able to build a more efficient system. So my goal is to, incorporate a more systematic process to get estates in, processed, and sold here and Whatnot. Q4 24, yeah, 24/7. Yeah, Bill, my brother's like, just sell 24/7. I trust me, I would love to do that. Um, or at least sell a whole lot. But we're still gonna, contribute a bunch of time, as much as we can to do that, because we're gonna need to get our fourth quarter numbers where they need to be. So we are gonna have to be on a lot, pushing lots of merchandise. Yeah, we've thought of doing mystery boxes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, mystery boxes aren't as fun anymore and whatnot because you have to open it and show what's in it, and it's just not the same. SS, I think that would be a great idea. We need help to do that. Absolutely. I would love to do it, but um, we need here's what we need at Green 13. I'll just tell you here. I would love a scenario where we need like an employee that can be there pushing it, like working with me at a minimum, uh in the mornings. Ideally, it should just be employees. Me and Shane should be allocating our resources towards sourcing merchandise and getting it in on a regular basis so we can just push it and push it and push it. Sorry, excuse me. And have, the right personality, the right people selling on Whatnot, for us. But at a minimum, it would be nice, in order to do what I preach, get rid of the backlog inventory. If we had somebody that could sell in the mornings with me, we all know I have some, physical problems and stuff that even prevent me from being able to get, a full day, a full sale in, which to me is a minimum of 6 hours, is what I would like to be doing, and then changing off to Shane, running for 6 hours later in the evening with somebody else. In order to get the numbers, it is definitely way better to have another person there with you. It helps. That's one of my suggestions always to anybody and whatnot. If you're asking how to, make your sales better, more effective in any aspect, find somebody else to help you. Even if it's a family member that's just there having fun or whatever. So that, and then the shipping aspect, we need somebody else. Steve-O's great, but we need another person that can help with the shipping ends of things. As you can see, we've gone from a 1 day ship time from doing Pick This Old House, the volume that we were getting from that, to 3 to 4 days. And that is a collateral cost that I do not want to take. I know it affects our business. I know it affects our sales. The problem is you can't quantify it. And one of the things I hate the most, and the thing you want the least in business, is unquantifiable expenses. Um, they're terrible. So if you already know you're dealing with an unquantifiable expense, you need to try to eliminate it as soon as possible. Because dealing with numbers you can't tally just is bad for business. And I can't tally or know the effects of having a 3 to 4 day ship time as opposed to having a 1 day ship time. I understand. Yeah, my 80 baby, we could probably do something like that. But overall, the thing I don't want my business to be streamlined is if Whatnot does dumb stuff like that, um, I don't want to have to worry about it. I don't want to have to send emails. I don't want to have to do workarounds. I don't want to have to pull privilege. I don't want to have to do any of that stuff. I just want to get on, run my business, and go. Um, yeah, yep, yep, I understand. Um, and in order to do that, I, need to create a system that allows for that. In order to create that system, we need to find more help, um, to run at the volume that we need. I mean, we have, you know, we did a lot. We did a ton of volume in the past. Our Amazon sales zero. Come here. Come up here. Stop scratching that. Um, just in the last quarter of the year on Amazon, we used to do, you know, 600 to $700,000 worth of sales. Are you being enough that Whatnot doesn't care about 3 day shipping? Oh no, they care. We've gotten warnings. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we didn't get suspended because of the. You got to understand the volume we do, as a percentage. Then for the late sales are not as much of a factor. They go according to percentage. Uh, which to me isn't fair to the small sellers, because if you only sell 20 items and like 2 items are late, then you're at a 20, you're at a 10%, you know, fail rate as far as time goes. Uh, yeah, 3 days is fine, but I would much rather be at 1 day. I think that's a much better situation. So, all right, I got off on a bunny trail. What was I talking about before I started talking about that? Oh, on trying to get the Green 13. I'm still addressing Zimpress's question, as far as what we're doing for the holidays. So Amazon has deteriorated ever since COVID happened. They created a way, which is business does. They created an environment that makes it extremely hard to make any money. The what I call essentially theft on Amazon through I call it return theft. People buying stuff and returning items, and you can't tell me that Amazon and other people don't know this factor. What you have to realize is on Amazon, if I sell something for $20, $25, free shipping, you don't have to get it for next to nothing, whatever. So you do that, you get it really cheap, you sell a huge volume of it, but then you have 20 to 30% of it get returned to you. And then a percentage of that, yeah, I mean, you can't resell it. It's open and it's junk. So you're paying for the return shipping on every single item. Yeah. And then after that, the theft stuff starts happening where people return empty boxes. They'll buy Lego, expensive $300 Lego sets and take the minifigs out and say, they didn't want it any longer. And then they'll do it with cheaper stuff. So what happens is if you want to argue with or try to get your money back for the items that people stole from you, let's say you're selling a ton of $25 items and a bunch of them come back and they're broken, smashed, damaged, were returned not in the condition you sent them out in. Technically, you can argue that was what with Amazon and get your money back. Here's the problem though: you have to send in pictures. You got to do all this work. So your time value. So if your profit on that item, you lose 25. You lost the $25 you initially gained, plus you lose the shipping that you paid twice to get it to the person, which is the first time is part of the $25. The second time it comes back $5. And if they decide to put it in a huge box that costs $30 to come back to you, we lose the $30 as well. So you're in the hole. And then in order to get some of your money back, your $25 that they spent for it, you got to spend you got to spend a bunch of time submitting per item photos, and it basically takes you a half an hour plus, probably closer to an hour worth of your time in order to get that money back. So they know it's not worth your time as a volume aspect in order to try to get that money back for the items that came back damaged or stolen, essentially. So you just lose it. It's just not worth it. It become a joke. Everybody that buys on Amazon exploits these principles, unfortunately, and it makes smaller business owners a lot harder to get rolling on whatnot and not whatnot on Amazon. And Amazon has become an extremely competitive market. There's other elements on there that they make it virtually impossible for you to keep up with their requirements, um, to keep them happy. They'll punish you if you send stuff in to sell. They'll punish you on your metrics if your price is too high, and then if you lower your price and it sells out, they'll punish you if you don't send more in. So it's just a lose lose situation. So we are going away from selling on there because the volume numbers seem fun and nice, but in the end, the cost to it is too much. Plus, we can't source anymore for Amazon. You can't buy anything. Amazon has such a strong hold on almost every item. We used to buy new toys and sell it on there, but Amazon gets it and sells it for less than what it costs us from our distributors. And then your distributors are like, "Hey, you have to spend this much money, or otherwise we're going to close your account." It's just a never-ending battle. It's so anybody that's interested in selling on Amazon, there's your potential future headaches that you're going to have to deal with. So all that said, my desire to sell on Amazon is pretty much at, at a complete zero. Dealing with it outside of the inventory that we still have on there, some stuff sells here and there. Um, and then along came Whatnot. So, but Whatnot unfortunately has not replaced the Amazon. And plus, when we were selling that volume on Amazon, we did have more employees. And then again, things went downhill, and now getting employees back is problematic. So that's our goal, that I'd like to try to get accomplished over the next, I don't know how many months or years for Whatnot. Um, so, what did Bill say? Yes, that's the other aspect. You know, what Bill pointed out that the people that buy on Amazon are like, oh yeah, we're Jeff Bezos. Who cares if he loses another $30? Well, he's not losing anything. We are. You got to realize they claim that over 50% of their sales on Amazon. But the funny thing is, all this said, guess what? They're getting investigated for manipulating, and it's all these principles that I'm telling you about that are why they're getting sued by the government for taking, for essentially being an online retail monopoly. So it's insane what they do and the way they operate and how they manage to be there. The other thing that's crazy, you got me on a rant now about Amazon. If you do fulfillment by Amazon and you send items in, and Amazon has an item, they will not, even if your item's cheaper. Like let's say they have it at $30 or $40, and you have yours at $35. They will not put it up as the primary buy box. They call it the buy box, where when you go and look at the item, it's right there to just click on buy. They'll not show yours, they'll show theirs. And then on top of that, they will charge you storage fees. So you're paying to store it at their warehouse to not sell it, and they won't sell. They will not let yours get sold, even if it's cheaper. They'll say like, "Oh, people can go click over here where it says more cheaper options available." How many people do that? I can tell you right now, nobody does, because if they did, our cheaper prices that we put when we undercut Amazon, the items would sell, and they don't. So it's a joke. And the only way you sort of can make money on there is if you create your own item and sell it on Amazon. And if you do that, you better have all the patents, I mean, like everything. Otherwise, they'll steal it and sell it themselves under a cheaper version. Yeah, Amazon is. I'm gonna continue going on this. I'm sorry, but again, this is random ramblings. Amazon, they go into all these towns, all these cities, and like, hey, we want to build these distribution centers, and they're like, we're going to create all these jobs. They're not creating jobs; they're destroying small businesses. Is what they're doing. The jobs, the people there to work are there to work, but it's and secondly, here's my pet peeve. I'm not a fan of creating jobs. I'm a fan of creating careers. And one of the fastest ways to create careers are from small business owners. You get you get more access to more responsibility working for a smaller company than you do going into a big old warehouse like Amazon. All right. Number one thing that needs to happen to help support the economy is creating careers. And the difference between a career and a job, everybody, do we know what it is? A career is a job with a future. Amazon creates jobs. It's dead end. There's nothing to be gained. It's a joke. So they go into these businesses where there's people to work, where people could go in and open up small businesses, give these people experience in the pathway to a career as opposed to a dead end job in a warehouse. And then when the warehouse doesn't work out, what do? They shut it down and walk away. And they deplete the tax revenue of these cities. They go in and say, hey, we'll come in and create all these jobs if you give us next to nil taxes. It's all a joke. I'm sorry. I usually don't like to get into those type of environments on here, but it just drives me nuts. I'm a small business owner. I'm a huge small business advocate, and I don't care what side you are on the political spectrum. They both, or everybody in politics, say they support small business owners. They're all liars. Not a single one of them. They say it just for lip service. Not a single politician is for the small business owner. They're all, yes, BS. They're all a bunch of BSers. So there's there's my rant for the day. So yeah, and that's the other thing. The small agile mind needs to be cultivated when it's, I mean, you learn when you're young. And this is another sap on a natural resource that's provided to us. You send people like younger minds that can absorb the information they need to be successful in the future. You're wasting that by saying, here, push this button or put these boxes in this bin over and over and over again. It's a complete waste on so many levels. I understand what you're saying. It's a job for younger people, but those jobs that those younger people could be working in small businesses, they will be taught more. They will be mentored. They will be, provided with a larger knowledge base, a better understanding of how things work. Just so many different aspects to those type of corporations that are a bunch of bull BS. Yep, you got it, SS. You got it. Yes, and the physical ailments, and I can tell you, I have all kinds of problems. I have bad knees, my back is bad. It's because I wasted that in my youth. I went and delivered furniture. I did all kinds of stupid stuff that was physically, now hard on me now that I'm older. Yes. Zero, come here. Come here, buddy. Come on. You can come on. Hold on there. They were asking where the cat was, and he just walked right past. Hey, Bubs. There you go. I want to say hi to Zero. I don't know if you can hear him, but he's purring away. Man, we're going to talk about random rambling. There we went. I told you, bunny trails. When did we get the shop cat? Well, Boots disappeared. Boots was getting close. He wasn't too far from ending up at the shop. He was getting real. He was almost there, or she. I don't know. Here for the rambles. So all that, obviously I got to be careful when I say stuff like that. People have, I started hitting some, things that could have some varying opinions there. So if I offended anybody or anything like that, I'm sorry, but you got a little bit of Jeremy raw emotion there. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I unfortunately fell into the trap of trying to support some, on the political end of things, people that seemed to me were going to be, small business people. But then you find out very quickly it's all they care about is what you can help them do in order to get elected, and it just isn't worth it. Of course, small business is the backbone of our country. Is there an auction? You mean today? Am I selling stuff? No, I'm just chatting today. I do a chat every Sunday morning. What'd my 80 baby say? Yeah. Yeah, you are. My 80 baby is exactly right. Everyone on here, I mean, as far as right now, I mean, you know how that goes. um, as a business grows, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here, but just be prepared. But right now, it is truly almost 100% community of small business owners. Actually, what I would refer to them as micro business owners. I think there needs to be an additional designator right now as far as governmental perspectives. A small business is a company with 500 or less employees, which is absurd to me. I think there should be a category that gets um, benefits from governmental situations or policies of like micro businesses with people like that 25 or less employees. It's not a real thing. I'm just saying there should be. It should be companies like what's here on Whatnot. Sole proprietors, all that kind of stuff. We should be getting you have a government agency that, like, let's just take for instance the United States Postal Service. They could leverage the United States Postal Service to benefit micro businesses more than what I would call mid-range businesses and large businesses, that they still fall in the category of small business, by giving us exceptional rates for shipping so we can compete with these larger companies, so on and so forth. I mean, that's just one. Anybody that wants to be a retailer, you have to be online and be able to ship stuff at inexpensive. If they want to inject capital into the small businesses and be, don't just give them money, give them, they're always worried like, oh, if we give them money, they might waste it on dumb stuff. Well, then don't give them money. Give them the tools to succeed. Give them super discounted shipping for being a small business. You know what else? You're going to get me on a big rant here. Employment problems. Think about this as a potential aspect. You know how many, if there, I know there's not a lot, but there's people on unemployment, right? Right? A lot of people on unemployment. Let's say we actually take the people that are on unemployment and allow people with micro businesses. You have 25 or less people, you make less than a million or so a year in sales. Allow these people to go work at these small businesses for a discounted rate while their rate is being supplemented by the unemployment that they would be on anyway. So I could hire somebody, the government has to pay less, and we have to pay less. It's a win win until they're off their unemployment. It's not complicated. It's just a joke that they won't implement stuff like that. Like, could you imagine, like, if I could go down to the unemployment office and be able to hire somebody and the unemployment's paying them a certain percentage of their wage, I only have to pay them $5 an hour, and they get to work for me, get past the learning curve and whether they're going to work. And then when they're 3 months or 6 months are up, I get to hire them. And it was a huge cost savings to me. I get to find out if the person's going to work out. They get to find out they're going to like the job. You don't have all that upfront expense to a small business that can't afford hiring people, educating them and training them, and then they end up not working out. Wait, what's going on here? And then, like I said, you're helping somebody. Like, you go down to that, when I was unemployed, all it was a bunch of, like, factory jobs coming in and trying to get you to go work on a labor mill. So, yeah. Yeah, you gotta be careful when you get me started on with stuff like that. Don't get me on the Federal Reserve, our production of money, the way I think the Fed should be monetizing consumption as opposed to banks. I mean, we'd be here for ages. You guys would probably go bored. Well, print's fine. It's reallocating the printed money that needs to be done. Again, I would go crazy. You guys want Yeah, you that's a scary one. How many people here understand how the Federal Reserve works? I got to be careful about this topic. I'd be here all day. Stack the cash at the moon. Most people don't. Yeah, we have stuff on eBay. We started in 2011. Fractionalized banking, you got it. Well, yeah, I don't want to get into that. I mean, I wouldn't hide money in a mattress. That's just gonna, if you put money in a mattress, uh, inflation destroys it. So I don't know how to say this in a short way, but if you understand how the Federal Reserve pumps money into the bank, they should be distributing that money into the bank accounts of people to emphasize spending, which accomplishes the same thing, except instead of giving the power to the banks, it would give it to, like I said, you monetize consumption instead of bonds. And I don't know if that probably still doesn't make sense to most people. I would have to articulate first how the Federal Reserve and all the different ways they uh, can inject capital um, into the system. And you'd also get my rant on why I think it's, if if they created automatic triggering effects and eliminated the hands of the person that is involved in deciding what to do with the Federal Reserve, we wouldn't be in the mess that we are. Well, we wouldn't be in the situation of where we are. If they had automatic triggering effects, which I'm not going to get into the specifics of that, we wouldn't have had low interest rates back when we had full employment, back when the economy was standing before 2020. The interest rates were too low. They should have been raised at that point in time, so we wouldn't have ended up in the boat that we are in right now. So, and that was kept that way for political reasons. So that's why we need to take more of the emotional and political aspect out of the Federal Reserve and make it mechanical and systematic and based on certain economic triggers that cause then certain things to happen. Yeah. Anyway, how about we get off this rambling rant? Like I said, you're talking my language now, and it's not a big language that people like to listen to. And it requires lengthy education and understanding of how the Federal Reserve and the difference. There's a lot of people. Um, like my dad came to me one time and said, if inflation is so high, why are they raising the interest rates? And I had to respond because interest rates and inflations are not the same thing just because they're both referenced in percentages. Like he doesn't even understand the difference. And one, how one affects the other, but they're not both the same thing. He doesn't understand. No problem. I'll see you next time. Let's get back to like whatnot questions. Random ramblings here. Political opinion discussions. Yeah, and I'm not advocating for one or another. If I ever breach the political thing, I'm always talking about just politics in general. And the one thing everybody hates is politics in general. So we're all on the same side here, right? Can we all agree on that? We all can't stand politicians and politics. So let's talk religion instead. Yeah, I don't, again, I'm not ever going to talk actual politics. I'll reference it in relation to certain things like that, you know, but it's all stuff, whatever, you know, wherever you are in politics, I don't think there's a disagreement with. So, or diet. So, anyway, yeah, you, okay, there we go. Let's get a little transition there. Is that LWB or is it IWB? I want to know if anyone has any luck with Buy It Now. LWB? Tough Girl wants to know. I'll give you my opinion on Buy It Now. Does anybody else want to put their opinion in and answer that question? Or no? We know, Bill. Okay. Yep. My 80 baby is where I'm at with it. And Bill, here's the deal. Whatnot, all right, is designed as a live streaming uh, selling platform. They have Buy It Now, in my opinion, for their own self interest for the utilization of search results. search engine optimization. So this is the one negative thing that I'm not happy with about Whatnot is their push for the market and the buy it now and all that kind of stuff because those markets are already established. There's tons of competition. It's taken away from resources they could put to the one thing that is gave them their unique selling proposition and out, what brings the uniqueness and the possibility of them becoming a force to be reckoned with. Uh, so my opinion on it is if you're going to use it to take advantage of what they're pushing, and that is to, just get people to show up to your shows with items that have, those keywords that people are going to search for. So my opinion is that I'm going to go on another rambling rant here. Instead of them focusing on search engine optimization for that, they need to allow us as sellers to put more keywords in our live auctions that pertain to those searches. Right now, you can put like tags in there, but they only let you use 3 or whatever it is. They should be realizing there's out of the box thinking that they could be utilizing to stay different and still provide the results that people need here on Whatnot. What happened is people would come on Whatnot and be like, how do I find X item? How do I find, this brand name of clothing? Their solution, it seems, is to put a bunch of time and effort into creating a marketplace so people can just go find that. The real solution, in my opinion, should be make sure people understand and are educated to the fact that this is a different selling platform. It's a live selling platform that brings all kinds of other benefits, push those benefits, and then allow the people to go in to their streams when they set up an auction and put more keyword stream items in there. So people can search it and be like, oh, this person is going to be selling these items that I'm looking for from this brand, from this, this type of shoe or this type of shirt or this type of jewelry or this name brand, whatever. So, yeah, but that's my point, Eye for Beauty, is if they provided the avenue for that through the auction streaming, people would cater to that then. Let's say they allowed me to be specific as to what I'm selling. Like, let's say I'm selling a certain era of Transformers. If they let me go in there and create a tag that says, I'm selling this type of Transformer, this type of Transformer, and this type, the really popular ones during this sale, then people can search it. It would pop up in their search results for that specific item search. And then they would be able to come to my sale and buy it and not be in that environment of waiting as much. But that is the environment that people have to understand. And that's what they need to target. They need to target the buyers that appreciate that aspect instead of trying to cater to the market that everybody else already caters to. So to get back to the buy it now aspect, there's already a million other places that allow you to build uh, and sell on that you get more money for on those platforms. So I see no reason to do buy it now or marketplace orders at this point in time because if I'm going to spend the time to take the pictures, do the title, do all that stuff, I'm already 90%, 99% of the way to a listing on another platform that I'm already established on that I'm going to get more money for it. The reason I sell on Whatnot is because I'll sell it at a discount and the speed at which I can sell it on here makes up for the money that I lose as opposed to selling on another platform. That makes sense. I don't understand all the ramblings I just went through. I mean, if you want to spend the time to do it, that's your prerogative. And if you're getting, more, if you're getting the money you want out of it as opposed to another platform, but the time to cost, uh, the time to price loss is another way I should do it. It's not worth it for us. And I don't think it's worth it for a lot of people if they sat down and looked at it. And they need to do some critiquing and changing on the back end to allow us to make our sales more searchable by keyword item searches. That's what they're going about it the wrong way. They're why compete with huge, you got Facebook, you got eBay, um, uh, and Macari. I mean, there's so many other selling platforms. Why do you want to be the same as everybody else when you establish yourself as the platform of difference? I understand it depends on your business model, but my point is, as far as the business model goes, if your business model is to sell items individually, I think you would be able to leverage the profitability of those items on other platforms. And again, this is my personal opinion. Even if you're a smaller seller and you don't want to deal with eBay or something, some people have bad experiences on eBay. We don't really have bad experiences on those static, what I call static sales platforms. Um, you know, that's if it's working for you, do it. I'm not trying to discourage you from doing it. I'm just letting you know what I would do if I was. We explored doing buy it nows. All that kind of stuff. So it's allocation of resources. Um, you know, does doing the buy it now on here or putting stuff in marketplace. You know, I mean, the buy it now is if the items. That's the same question we get with cataloging items on here. Taking pictures, putting titles in, and then selling it via auction. The time it takes to do all that, I think the point of this is for me to show you an item I have, sell it to you. You know, I don't need to sell it to you, over in a distractive environment where people have to like swipe out of your sale essentially to go over into your list of items or your mark or your buy it nows, and then they're not paying attention to your sale. It's just not a process that makes sense to me. It seems to me you could spend the time to leverage what Whatnot has um, to what's that? I catalog shows sometimes to help me with shipping, but give one basic pick and as shown live description. Yeah, we used to do some cataloging or buy it nows. I completely stopped doing that uh, because of the reasons I'm giving. So I would much rather have the ability to um, advertise my shows with more keywords so people could find it, show up, and I wouldn't have people come in and say, "You got any Pokemon? You got any this? You got any that?" They would be keywords that I would spend the time to put in that I knew I definitely had in that sale, and also any item specifics. And obviously, I understand there'd be a problem with people trying to start spamming, but it's a live selling applicate. People will find you out very quickly and be like, "Hey, you're just spamming a bunch of stuff." So your business is not going to succeed, and people won't tolerate it. That's the other beauty of this type of platform. So there's my other rambling, and I'm always uh, sticking to that as far as my opinion on, you know, whether or not I would or we would, and we have in the past, and we stopped. We went through a 6 week course with Whatnot, um, where they were like, "Hey, do this," and that's what they wanted us to do. They wanted us to put catalog a sale, put all the pictures in, title everything. So we go through that entire process, and by the time we're done, you know, maybe a third of the items sold. So two-thirds of everything we spent all that time for then didn't sell. So what do we do then? We just wasted all that time, and then we got to waste all the time to essentially try to sell it again elsewhere by creating Yeah, we could reuse the pictures, um, but that's still time consuming. Uh, Redo the titles, geared towards another selling platform. It's just a waste of time. It just didn't work for us. It didn't. The time cost benefit to it just wasn't there. As opposed to us just showing the items. And again, I'm going to gripe about it one more time that they need to provide us with the ability to put more of that, because if you can do that, you're essentially covering a larger base of items with just a simple keyword. So that's a colossal time savings and still can get people into your. It's a social platform, keep it that way. Um, and people that like that and love that will come here and shop here and buy here. When you start getting it all convoluted and mixed up as a desperate chase for more money, I don't think it's going to serve them in the long run. Postcards, I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I never know what we're going to run into. I wasn't paying attention to chat. What was I for Beauty talking about? Okay. You would prefer to not be a social? Well, it's an extremely unique social environment. Selling and social combined, live streaming. It's what creates, its difference. So POP folks love it. Hold on a second. Let's see here. What's this say? Back off eBay? CLL? I don't know who that is, but oh, she's gonna stop selling on eBay. Is that what you're saying? I don't like that light. Or did she say she's gonna start selling again? I'm actually curious about that. I know she did. Okay. Stop. Yeah. I mean, she's a completely different ball of wax. I mean, I already know that just, her main source of income is not the items she's selling. I mean, she gets absurd money for the stuff she sells. Yes. So it doesn't really matter where she goes. Um, but her main source of income, in my opinion, come from what not her YouTube. So she's one of those situations where the content that's created as a result of buying and selling is what her revenue stream is truly comes from. My opinion. Anyone can let me know if I'm wrong or if they have a difference in opinion on that. Yeah. Again, does she sell a lot of items? I don't watch. I don't really watch her streams. Yeah. So 50 items. So she stopped at 50 items. Is that what it is? She's like, I'm going to sell 50 items and that's it. Which tells you that, okay, Well, there that answers my question. Um, she is not there to sell items. She's there to create content that's needed for her YouTube because she'll make sure she only sells what she can handle that doesn't disrupt her main revenue source. So that's what that tells me. She makes sure that she only sells enough that she can continue to keep content up, which is makes perfect sense and it's extremely smart. Because if the selling of the items was important, the amount of money she gets for it, she would sell like crazy. Oh yeah, and she deserves it. I mean, I would never be able to put out content like that on a consistent basis. I mean, that I can imagine is a ton of work. And now that it's Crazy Lamp Ladies who we're talking about. Yeah, she has a video. Does she does anybody know the fact that you can stream these sales directly to YouTube? Does she do that now? Yeah. So that adds in a not like the sale turns into a income stream for her on YouTube. So you know, I could see. I mean, why else? Why would you stay on? It that's a huge moneymaker for her. Oh yeah, she was really big before. Yeah, Whatnot's the one that got it. They brought her on here. So anyway, and yeah, her scenario is not applicable to any of the stuff that I was talking about because whether or not she did buy it nows or not, her revenue stream is from content, not from her main revenue stream. So anybody else have any questions? I don't remember what all I have notes over here, but I have no idea. Oh yeah, I would love to be able to just to be able to have content like that and make do that. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I do need to mention that everything I talk about on here is my obviously my perspective, the way we operate our business, what we do. You do what makes you happy, you do what works for you. You know, if anything out of all of it, even if it does, in a, from a perspective of mine, like we'll go back to talking about the buy it nows. Um, if you want to do a bunch of buy it nows and it's what you like doing, do it. It just obviously isn't something that you can tell that is a principle of selling here and whatnot that we at Green 13 will really employ unless I'm curious to implement an idea that would be a strategic use outside of its uh, practical use. You know, like if I wanted to do some for just to see if it brings more people to the sale, if I start putting items in there with certain keywords in the title. Like, here's a buy question. I've been in auctions where someone asks for something specific and sellers don't have it. I have it. I'm not sure what you're asking. No, you never self promote. That's against Whatnot policy. You don't self promote in anybody else's sale unless they tell you you can. So, like here, for instance, right now, I'm going to tell everybody, we got 81 people. If you're selling, you got shows lined up, anything, you can plug away. Let everyone know what you're selling. You can do that right now. I am giving everybody permission to do so. So that's when you can do it. So if you want to take me up on the offer, knock yourself out. If you don't, yes, I do need to give a shout out to the hardworking um, mods that come in and help us. Zess, are you still here? Zimpris, um, and my 80 baby. I mean, they've been with Whatnot for a long period of time. They've been big champions of this category and a couple other categories that broke out from it. They did a lot of work and cheerleading for it. Go follow them. They're all excellent sellers um, and super Whatnot supporters. And they're big supporters of tons of other sellers on here as well. And yeah, you can go follow Eye for Beauty too, just because it's a fun, weird thing to do, I guess. I think Eye for Beauty is going for a record of most followers without selling an item. My 80 baby's got it. Green 13 merch anytime soon. I don't know. Um, we got a lot of uh, still got catching up to do. Monday and Tuesday. I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week we're going to forego any sales because we gotta get that backlog of stuff cleared out. We gotta get some other stuff in line, um, so we're not fumbling through. Um, for instance, our Saturday sales have turned more into, instead of our backlog of some of our estate sales where we put it on, we're just trying to get stuff up there, and it's not quite what I want it to be as far as content and merchandise for everybody. Um, we got to get all that stuff, and that's all the collateral damage from the one that picked this old house. It has caused some issues. Um, and everything else, the flow of things, the sourcing of things, um, our other sales, just causing them to not be as smooth. I did not get videos done. So we need to definitely play catch up, clean up, so on and so forth. So tickets, I have no idea. What is anybody else? I mean, they've only been around a few short years. Did anybody hear on Whatnot? Because we weren't here during last holiday selling season. Did anybody notice that we're selling last holiday a uptick in sales? Junk in the trunk says no. Sable says yes. Vintage Christmas did really well. But did you see an overall uptick in the amount of sales or dollar amount? Okay. Yeah, Eye for Beauty. I have a feeling that it's not going to be a platform that, again, it doesn't follow the normal uh, selling environment that other platforms have. So uh, the week of Christmas was very slow. I think, to be honest with you, one of the principles I believe uh, that might affect that is the shipping aspect. And Whatnot really was trying to get a uniform shipping, you know, 2 day shipping, trying to get people to do that so they have like that reputation that things won't take long to get out to people. But the fact that that's a constant, not a certainty, and it's something that's in flux is going to affect any type of holiday shopping. Um, So on this platform anyway. But we are going to test some like newer items on here. I think that's going to be something we're going to try to, like those Nerf guns and all those new toys. Uh, we're going to see what type of potential quantity of that kind of stuff we can sell. I mean, yeah, we're just going to try it, and obviously, as you know, we are always into trying new things and different things. You're going to see Whatnot reps. What Any questions for them? When are you going to see them? Are you at that that convention in Vegas? I mean, like, are they just category reps, or are they actually people that have sway? I mean, I have, yeah, I have their number and have talked to them about stuff already, and it's, the stuff that I would reference has more to do with Whatnot as a whole than what they have any sway in doing. So you ask your questions to them. I've been in, I have a line to both of them. Uh, my suggestion to you, though, my 80 baby, Nyla, come on, stop scratching that, you crazy cat. Come here, Nyla. What should I ask? Don't ask them anything. Try to make sure you get their contact so you can stay in constant contact with them. Take the opportunity to get that, because Zimpress, I have you've talked to Whatnot reps in the past, right? Like you on a frequent basis. Yeah? Yeah. And do they help you out with anything? Yeah, this is a talk show. Yep, it's just a chat this morning. So my 80 baby, you don't ask the questions you want to ask that you're curious about, obviously. But my suggestion is try to you know, get their contact information so you can be in contact with them. Okay. Yeah, the reps that my 80 baby just put up, those was it Jackson? He is the rep for the estate category. And then the other guy, Kevin, is like a lead for like multiple categories. Um, he deals with like jewelry, the estate sale category, and a couple other ones. I don't like how the playing field isn't fair for all of us. Yeah. Um, it's funny you mentioned that. Um, Yesterday, I jumped online for a short period of time to just because I was in the warehouse. I'm like, oh, I'm bored. I'll jump on and do a shipping show where Uh, you know, I'm just going to ship Hummels and see if anybody shows up, keep me company. I ended up stopping it because it made me less productive, obviously. I should have known that to begin with. But Liz came in and asked if I have a phone number to somebody at Whatnot. And I was like, yeah, I got, I can get in direct contact with, some of the reps and leads at Whatnot. But I don't, um, because I don't like that aspect either, that there's, people that have direct and get some advantages and stuff like that. It's one of those things where it just doesn't, it doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. And I know there's certain people that when they get it, they super leverage it. And it's business, and people do it, but I, I don't know what else to really say about it. You'd say the same if you were a boy. So I guess in the end, if you get a utility out of it, use it to try to help other people. Like if you get in contact with them, um, if you get their contacts, it it feels, and I said this before, it feels to me that the reps, there should be more, uh, and that to help people there, there should be, a better mentoring type of program in categories. Um, I think that's what the reps kind of, I understand it's kind of hard, but let's say, you know, somebody wanted to do sales the way we do. Um, if they had like a more, like closer knit way of accomplishing to get people mentored um, from other sellers through the reps by having more reps, I think that would be helpful. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they need more reps so more people can have access to them. So, and maybe they're working on it, um, because I feel there should, if you're an established seller, like I don't, maybe not everybody should have, like once they know that you're going to be dedicated to this platform and it's not just a passing fad for you, there should be more reps for you to get access to. Does that sound like that would be like a fair thing? Like if you did so many auctions, not volume based, because that's, sales based. That's kind of hard for some. Sometimes that's their problem. That's what they need help with. So if they were like, hey, I'm sticking this out, I'm going on every week, I'm doing this, I've done it for, 2 months right now. Um, okay, you did what's required. Here's your rep that is now going to help you fill, they're going to try to help you succeed. We saw that you're serious about Whatnot, and this wasn't just let's see if it's going to work or not. Uh, so I think that would be a good idea. I understand they only have so many resources. 1,000 sales. Eh, That aspect, I don't, you know, uh, that's just a number. I think no matter what number it was, people would want it to be lower. I talked about how to reach that 1,000 sales to get over that hurdle. That has to do more with payment. Um, but that's just, I'm talking more about not item sales, but having a live sale. Like if you were on here once a week for 2 months or something like that. So you had 8 sales in a consistent basis. They would be like, you know, here's this person, I can give you a hand. And then it'd be up to that person to see if they were listening, taking their, and the resources were being allocated appropriately. Yeah, I mean, it's become a big thing, the whole crowdsource aspect. But again, I do understand they're growing rapidly and it's going to be hard to do. And there's probably a million different ideas that they would like to be implementing but can't. Well, what do reps do? Yeah, here's another thing. You're not. I don't. I don't know because we don't lean a ton on reps. Um, so uh, most of the time they just. I think they're kind of curious. We've been asked more questions when we talk to our rep about what we do and stuff like that because I think that it helps them find people that are going to be successful and whatnot. So it seems more to me that we've been asked more questions so they can do that because that's their job essentially is to find uh, people that are going to be potentially successful and whatnot. I think that's what their most of the reps main jobs are. And someone can correct me. That's just been my observation. I'm missing stuff in chat. I don't know if Whatnot does marketing. Does anybody else see any ads or anything like that from Whatnot? Okay. Oh, I do want to mention somebody mentioned something about UPS. Now, I do just YouTube, okay. Um, I do think people that put the hard time and work in, um, it only makes sense to me, and some people may disagree with this, but uh, we were provided an opportunity to do UPS. I mean, they're not going to open it up to everybody until they get the kinks worked out, which is nice. Or we get to, go through the hard the. I mean, it comes with its problems, and I'm just going to tell you here's some of the problems with UPS that I've noticed. Anybody else on here a seller that's been approved to ship through UPS? Yeah, most people aren't going to be. It's still piloting. I just wasn't sure if there's anybody else in here in the stream right now that was approved. So if no one else, um, everyone's asking, when are they going to roll it out? I have no idea when they're going to roll it out. They just, use accounts where they know they're going to get a lot of uh, shipments out of it, so they can get the data they need to find out how to, utilize it and deal with it. But the bad part about UPS, I'll tell you right now, number one, more stuff is breaking. So that's been that's been a problem now for us. Um, so and they don't allow us to that it defaults to UPS at a certain weight. It's not like we can pick the post office or UPS. So it's becoming, we're having some issues as far as that's concerned. So our sales metrics are going to start getting probably affected as a result of a higher percentage of problems. Our feedback will probably have more. I've already noticed some people leaving negative feedback as a result of items showing up broken, which in the past I know they would have made it fine with the post office. Um, um, so th- so it's not all it's cracked up to be. I can tell you that right now. I mean, that's that it's got its benefits as far as the cost savings go. Um, but even some of those benefits, I think, as they build out the system, is going to go away. Somebody asked about eBay Live. Uh, for eBay Live feels to me like a different avenue. Uh, it seems more like they're trying to create. From what I saw, it seems more like they're just trying to create a QVC TV style selling platform. Do they even auction things off on eBay Live, or is it all just like here's a price and it goes? And it's only for like when I say QVC style, I mean what they're trying to do is they'll take like somebody that's popular. It seems like their idea is to take like here's somebody that's known for creating this type of jewelry, or they're the jewelry designer, and they have them on with a salesperson, and then they just keep running that stuff, and it's more like a chat conversation session while stuff sells underneath, right? That's what it When I watched it, that's what it felt like. So I don't think that's Whatnot's the individual sellers like us. Man, I got to take this air conditioner out now. It's getting cold. I mean, Whatnot has some of that and has some people trying to mimic that. But there is very little to no interaction with the chat on eBay in that situation. It is more small business built than it is that would be your like almost small business the corporate aspect where you hope Whatnot doesn't try to drive towards eBay style, and you hope eBay, which I don't think will, drive towards Whatnot style. I heard local pickups coming. I was told that it's right around the corner. Wildflower, you missed me earlier. I will always say just go live for the way we do things. I guess I should say it depends on what you personally like doing. That depends on what type of business model and sales you want to do. But it's a live selling platform, so I say sell live. I don't think it's worth wasting the time to do pictures. Why would I have a picture of something if I'm going to show it to you live in front of your face? I mean, that's just my plain nitty gritty opinion. So if eBay Live stays essentially that way, where uh, it's just like the auction platform, where the auction itself it's more like not social, but like TV entertainment, where you're just listening to this person talk about how they came about this brand of item, and there's some other person interviewing them, and it's just like watching an episode or something, but people can bid on stuff at the same time. uh so I don't think it'll interfere. Yeah. And if you yeah, people are talking about pre-bids. I mean, that's going to be a back and forth that no one, I don't think, is ever going to come to 100% consensus on. I just tell you what I personally believe for the way we sell our items, and our goals at our company is not to do pictures, is not to do pre-listed items. Um, so you have to decide how you want to build your Whatnot business. We Our perspective, and I always tell people this, is the volume that Whatnot can bring is what makes it worth it to us to take the lower value of the items, um, and to spend the time to build listings essentially on Whatnot. I would just sell it on another platform, even the ones with higher fees, because of the price that I get out of it there would be more. The profit, I should say, not the price, the profit I would get would end up being more selling on another platform after spending time to build the listing. Where did the name Green 13 come from? My brother. Yes, Zimpress. I'll go back to the Green 13. That is a truth that I believe in as well. It is a very expedited process of showing people what you're selling instead of pictures. Show videos, have videos. And now I wouldn't do what Zimpress. I mean, Zimpress. How long does it take you to put one of those videos together? I mean, you put like these, like what I call flashcard video type of things together with like a choreographed song and stuff behind it. Like, how long does that take you to do? So there you go. It takes Zimpress an hour to essentially give people an idea of what she has coming up in her show. Right? They're pretty much a teaser video. I go the nitty gritty old school way, where I should say old school, just raw form, where I just lay this stuff out. If I do, and when it's not a sort saver sell session, where the idea that is the fun of the find, but I still do a video explaining what it is. I'll just have everything on a table and just scan over the table and talk about it and what I expect to sell and what how I expect to sell the items in that auction. So, oh yeah, somebody answered that question about selling in different categories. Man, we really went the course of stuff today, didn't we? We almost got on the cliff of politics. We were right on that edge and got away from it, luckily. Bunny trails, bunny trails. We talked about Katie. I talked about the consignment aspect at the beginning that I constantly get questions about. Um, Thank you, Zimpress. We were talking about the Federal Reserve. We almost went on I'd still be talking about that if I didn't stop myself. I'd be teaching a lesson on the Federal Reserve and what I think would help if they made certain changes. Yeah, random ramblings indeed today, right? Yeah, we went back to the POSs. I have good hair. Your listening has to do with seeing my hair. Interesting. How do I advertise my shows? Good skin. Really? Okay, thank you. No, Green 13 is not a family. My wife does help. She does like some customer service. Some of the responses you get from whatnot messages is actually my wife signing my name to responses. Somebody asked a question up here. How do we advertise our shows? We put them on whatnot. That's it. We don't advertise them anywhere else. Silver and gold are moving up. What's silver at right now? I got to know. I opened a I opened a short position in silver when it was around $30. Oh yeah, well, I'll explain that. I'm looking for the what's is it down to it's at 22.85. Sorry to be excited about it being that low, but like I said, I opened a short position a while ago in silver. 22.90, nice. What was it at last week? I should be paying attention. All front month futures 22.90. I'm still good. I bought a you guys are gonna I'm gonna geek out on you here. Some of you guys will know what I'm talking about. I bought a I think it I don't think they had a triple. It's a double short ETF on silver when it was at $30. I'm still should have sold it already, probably a couple times, but I gotta dump that here shortly. Up 93 cents. I locked in at 30, pretty much. They decay. It's an ETF, so the intrinsic value stays pretty well. I haven't had any problems with decay on any of the ETFs. I mean, I understand they do when they roll over the contracts, but the rate at which it dropped, I'm fine. I have a lot of, not a lot, but I trade, like to trade in ETFs. Y'all need to do a YouTube video. I know I trade leverage ETFs for years now, but thank you. um, the Green 13 name. Yeah, we do need to do a video. I mean, realistically, it came from uh, my brother was into like he liked the way Green 13 was kind of a rhyme. Green's good luck, 13's bad luck. He was into like numerology of some sort, dealing with gambling at the roulette table, and came up with that name. Shane utilized the name for an eBay account selling T-shirts. Asked Bill if he could use it for a business name, and Bill said, "I don't care." And then Shane didn't do anything with that for years, and then started selling on eBay with that name. And then since that was the established eBay account, when me and Shane decided to get rolling on whatnot, I mean not on eBay, which is what started it. We just kept that business, that account, and just used that name. So that's the short ass the long short. It was nothing crazy. Just happened to work out that way. I do. My freaking toes are cold. I got to go get some shoes on and do some work around the house as usual. It's almost 10:41. You got anything else you have a question about? That won't make me go on too long of a bunny trail. My coffee's empty. I don't know. I'll be in contact with Ennis shortly. I got to do all the numbers for his sale. Some of them, yeah. We live stream to YouTube or whatnot sales, except for Ennis's house. I don't want to ever do that without permission, and I started asking him about it, and he wasn't quite. I didn't spend the time to try to explain it in detail to him, so I just decided not to do it. Um, so, but outside of that, since they gave us the option, I started live streaming almost all the sales to YouTube. I don't know if it's worthwhile. It's just doesn't take any. It doesn't cost anything to do it. I need to add more shows. What do you mean, SS? On what not? I mean, on YouTube? Oh, you mean on yeah, it should just be Green 13. I know SS. I will, but like I said, this week is going to be a light week. I'll get the sword save and sell session up tomorrow for Friday, and then we'll discuss what our plans are for the following week to get the shows up. So, yeah, we are extremely. I mean, you know us. We usually, us. I usually put a ton of shows for weeks ahead, but again, it's collateral. Costs. Um, Opportunity costs to our company from doing this pick this old house. So thank you. Come here. Everyone wants to see you. Come on. Here you go, everybody. Say hi to everybody, my mouse. Hey, say hi. No, 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 no. Somebody, hold on a second. What did you say? So if I only want to do a show once a month, what not might not be for me? No, that's not true at all. No, no, no. My consistency. So you curate your followers the way you want to. That's my suggestion to you. So if you only want to do it once a month, as long as you make that clear to the people that end up buying from you that that's what you're going to do, they get that expectation. SS is like, hey, get more shows up. You know why? Because we've set the expectation that we're on here almost every day. So when I don't have a bunch of shows up, people, you know, it just is not what they're used to with what we provide. So all cats. So come on, do it once a month and then let things grow from there. I mean, if you're doing well enough that you want to add more weeks, but just set the expectation for your buyers. Don't go on and say, hey, I'm going to do one every week and tell everyone that's what you're planning on doing. And that'll just throw, a cloud of misrepresentation over what you're offering. So just stick with what you tell them and stay consistent. Yeah, which is smart. I will tell you personally, I have a tendency to get, I have all these ideas and I want to do all this stuff, and we take on very frequently more than we should. Try to learn from it, but I fall into that trap a lot. So the fact that you can recognize that and then avoid that to a very good positive aspect that you want to stick with, and I'll also, tell you, you'll find out if whatnot's for you by doing that, you know, and if it's not going to sink or cause any problems in your life outside of, you know, whatnot itself, then you'll know, like, okay, this whatnot thing's not going to work for me doing it once a month, but I not going to put any more resources into because it's not what I really want to do. Don't try to turn it into something if you're already happy with something else. So, uh, there was something else I wanted to say, but now I forget. Oh, I was talking about how I get in, like the, I get off into the world of doing things more, taking on more than I should. Um, so like I was saying, to pick this old house series has caused a lot of collateral, dominoes, negative domino effects uh, to Green 13 that, now we have to play catch up and rectify. So we're still always learning. Um, and I always encourage everyone else, to not try to get themselves in those situations. Am I doing anything fun today? I'm going to go downstairs and sand a big piece of live edge wood that we bought to build a table. That's what my plans are for today. Yeah. You're doing clean outs. Do you partner with a junk hauling company? No. When we're doing clean outs, we ask if they want us to hire somebody or if they want to hire somebody. It's because it's always determined where the location is. I've come to find that, the most economic people that deal with junk hauling is kind of inconsistent. So I just find what I can at the time that is close to where the estate is, or I tell very frequently the people that we're doing the estate for, like, you may want to hire somebody personally, because there's no reason to pay me for the time it takes to find somebody, because I will charge. It's not a lot to find somebody and have it cleaned out. Whereas if they just find it, it's junk hauling. Not to second chance bids. So you ended up with more than you wanted, my 80 baby, huh? I don't know why I'm trying to drink coffee that I don't have. You're in your office, grab some whiskey. Nah, whiskey. This What time is it? It's 10:50. It's still too early for whiskey. Do I think it's worth it? Yeah, it's going to be worth it. It's just not as profitable as it comes across. So it's not like it's going to be a situation where we're not going to do it. It's a situation where we can see the value in it and the value to customers. It's just an overall value there to be had, and unique concept that I can bring to people in the area. It's just that we have to keep doing what I tell everybody else. You have to retool, reconfigure, and make sure that you can handle it. So I guess the answer is it worth it? Yes, but it'll be worth more if we are prepared and appropriately, sort have the appropriate resources to put into it to make it viable. The house contents has a lot to do with it. Well, it's a it's the whole thing. The house content, I mean, you notice that people really love the sellers, the people that you're selling for. I mean, it's a whole, bundle of different elements that come to play in the Pick This Old House, which is what makes it great. I mean, there's no other platform that I can go to a client and say, "Hey, we can auction your stuff off. You can be involved if you want. You can not be involved if you want. And guess what? We offer people to give tips, which is free money for you. You can't go to an auction house and have them tip the estate owner. You know, so that's it's only lunatics buy storage units. Hold on a second. I don't even know if I have anything out here that I want. Oh, I do have a Glencairn here. Did they come on the sale? Who? The pick this old Ennis did. Ennis was on a lot. You heard him talking in the background. You hear that? Lagavulin, 8. They're like 8-year-old Lagavulin, so it's super smoky. Daytime. It's almost 11. No, it's not already. Somebody mentioned it. I'm gonna take a little tiny bit. And as long as I'm live, I'm not drinking alone, right? That's all I got. Right? Anybody else drinking with me? No coffee, no water, drink whiskey. Putting a little something in the coffee. It's almost 11 here. Ah, it just smells so good. I can just sit here and smell it. I'll put Bailey's in the coffee. All right, you let me know when you got Bailey's. That way I won't be drinking alone. I had to get going. What time? I was 8. I'm almost 3 hours in. Let's wake Shane up. Shane doesn't drink. Done. All right. I do not down the hatch this stuff. I sip it. So much peat smoke in there. It's so good. Cilantro. Exactly. And that'll sit, and I'll sip from that a little bit throughout the day because I do have to go do some sanding. I got to get going. It's been a fun time. Uh, yeah, I'm probably distracting other people as well. It was a fun chat. It was definitely a nice random rambling session. So what happens when I don't have anything super planned out? Just to recap, the big thing. Can somebody throw Katie's thing up there again? Go follow Katie. We're gonna be. She's gonna be with us next. There you go. He's going to be with us next Thursday, and we're going to have some fun going through helping her out and bringing everybody along with the strategies and techniques that we utilize to try to get things rolling here and whatnot. So hopefully it's something you can take away and it will help other people that are new on the platform. Again, we'll reiterate, I can't do anything for other people when it comes to personality, and she absolutely has the personality that is going to work out great on here. But as far as all the other aspects, my goal is to help her, which in turn will help everybody else that is following along. Of course, you can. Yes. Whatever my 80 baby is going to put up here, please pay attention. Go ahead, my 80 baby. Or do you want to come on here live and plug it? Now that I remember how to do the whole co-hosting thing, it's like I want to do it all the time. Charity auction. What was that? 2 weeks ago you co-hosted? All right. Yeah, we'll let you go into detail.
Good morning.
Oh, there you go.
Good morning.
Second time already.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. So, I mentioned earlier, I'm going to the Boss Reseller Remix in Las Vegas this week. And on Thursday, if somebody will tag them in the chat, the Hustle Bee. So it's at the Hustle Bee is having a charity auction on his channel, and all proceeds go to the Blind Center of Nevada. And they have like the most state of the art, amazing facility. What they're trying to do there is like be the example for all blind centers in America, basically. So they run a multi-million-dollar eBay business out of scrap recycling right out of the facility. It's all run by visually impaired or blind people. Wow. It's just an absolutely amazing facility. Now they've gone into working on their own personal housing for their employees. That's like basically right next door because they have like transportation problems. A lot of them are Section 8. They've also recently, in the past couple years, opened up their own food truck, which is all again staff run. Their chefs, everything are all by visually impaired or blind people. So it's really an amazing cause. And for the auction on Thursday, again, it's going to be on the Hustle Bees channel. Wade's Ventures has donated silver bars for the auction. The Hustle Bee has donated tons of sneakers. Storage Auction Pirate has donated, I think, some sneakers. So there's like stuff from Rally Roots has donated some amazing like banger t-shirts. I know that eBay has donated some things for the auction. So there's going to be like a vast array of items. And it's all donated and all proceeds go right to the Blind Center. So thank you for allowing me to plug that. Anybody who's going to the remix or even virtually, like just go look them up, the Blind Center of Nevada. They really it's revolutionary what they're doing. Like you know, disability is my ass, really. Those people show you what you can do. Like, you know, we all like have struggles in our life and like you're not blind, are you? Like, oh my gosh. So
Yeah, and I've seen the impressive things that they managed to accomplish. It puts things in perspective for you as somebody that doesn't have an impairment like that. It's like, yeah, I don't have to battle this, and I'm complaining
yeah,
about this stupid, and you're just
they
like,
let nothing
yeah, I
stop.
shouldn't be complaining.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, there's going to be a ton of amazing items up. And then Dander 715, like during the auction, you'll be able to tip and all proceeds will go directly to the Blind Center. And Whatnot is waiving all fees for the auction. So all proceeds will go right to the Blind Center. So it's really exciting.
Oh,
I think
that's nice.
last year they raised like $15,000, if I'm not mistaken. It was about a hour and a half auction last year. And it's going to be like way beyond that this year. So really exciting.
And that, they had one on here last year.
Yeah, yeah. It was so they'll do the auction live from the Blind Center with like the live audience. So I'll be in the audience for the auction and yeah, it's so much fun. So hope to see you guys there Thursday. I'm not
That's
sure the
on
exact
Thursday. I
time.
was just gonna ask.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on Thursday
Oh,
afternoon. So
okay,
so
that
Lydia Rose,
that's
it's
awesome.
at the Hustle. They'll put that back in there, or I can, I think. But it's the auction is scheduled on his channel. So, and they're a great couple themselves. So, if you don't know him, if you need some sneakers, great sellers. So, but yeah, it'll be exciting.
Perfect.
So, thank you for allowing me to plug that. I hope to see you guys there. And yeah, I'm headed to Vegas and for
All
a whirlwind tour.
you're
Yeah.
always
Oh,
welcome.
thank you.
You know that.
Oh, thank you. So, yeah, I leave in the
All right.
morning, I don't know, like 7 a.m. or something, and I'll be back like, I don't know, 5 a.m. Friday morning, probably doing the
Yeah,
show Saturday.
have
So
fun talking to Whatnot reps.
yeah, yeah. I don't that's why I asked you is because I don't have a lot of good questions really. And you know, it's like if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything. I don't want to come off like I'm just complaining and bitchy. And that is my primary chief thing. It's like it should be fair and level for all. I don't know. So whatever. We'll see. We'll see
Well,
what happens.
then
Hopefully I come out of it.
well, in my opinion, just shave a little of the B word off of there and just present it a little bit more cordially.
I
Ask
guess or
those questions like,
yeah. Or ask what I can do to get
you
some of
know,
those advantages, right? So
yes,
yeah.
that's what I would
Yeah.
do. Ask how you can get some of the advantages.
Yeah. So
So,
but all right, always a pleasure. It's been a fun morning and thank you again. And yeah, I'm off to 3 nights, 4 days of no sleep, go, go, go. So it should be a blast. I already am
well, you have
killing the
fun with
no sleep
that.
look. Thank you much. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
All right, see ya. I got to get going too, everybody. So, yeah, I'm way past my time. So everybody, have fun. Don't I know Dale up there? Oh, you're back again. How you
Oh my
doing?
God, why am I back? Get
It's
rid
all
of
right.
me.
I'm gonna get closing out here anyway. So,
All
we'll we'll see everybody later. Everybody have a good time. Until
right.
next time, everybody. Happy bidding. Oh wait, I can't close it here. Oh, there we. All right, everybody. Again, happy bidding. Till next time.